Okay, forget everything you think you know about stuffy old classics. Today, we're cracking open one of history's oldest cold cases. We're going to treat the ancient Greek tragedy of Oedipus Rex for what it really is, a totally gripping psychological thriller. We've got it all: a city in crisis, a brutal murder, and a detective who will stop at absolutely nothing to find the truth, even if that truth completely destroys him.
So let's just start with the one question that makes this story so incredible. I want you to imagine a brilliant investigator, a guy famous for solving the unsolvable, and he's been tasked with finding a murderer to save his entire city. Now, what if, as he starts peeling back the layers of this mystery, every single clue starts pointing in one terrifying direction, right back at him? All right, so our investigation kicks off in the great city of Thebes. But this is not a city at peace. Not at all. It's a kingdom on its knees, basically brought to a standstill by this mysterious and deadly plague. The scene is set for a really desperate hunt for answers. The people are they're desperate. They turn to their king and say the city is dying, that Hell's House is getting rich off their tears. So they go to the famous oracle at Delphi, and the message they get back from the god Apollo is just chillingly clear. There's an unclean thing, a sickness, hidden in their land. The murderer of their last king, Laius, is still living among them. And until that killer is found and kicked out, the plague will not end. So who's the detective on this case? Well, it's none other than the current king, Oedipus himself. Now, he's not originally from Thebes, but he is their hero. He's the guy who saved them years ago by solving the riddle of the Sphinx, this monster who was terrorizing the whole city. He's brilliant, he's decisive, and he promises his suffering people that he is going to find this killer. He vows to search and clear this darkness. So Oedipus launches this investigation with total, absolute determination. He actually pronounces a curse on the unknown killer and on anyone who's helping to hide him. The crazy part? He has no idea that every single curse he speaks is a curse he's putting on his own head. The first person Oedipus brings in for questioning is the blind prophet Tiresias. He's expecting a lead, a name, some kind of direction, but what he gets is a jaw-dropping accusation. Tiresias, after being pushed and pushed by the king, finally just explodes with the truth. He points at Oedipus and says, "Thou art thyself the unclean thing. You're the killer you've been looking for." Now, Oedipus's reaction here is so interesting. He just can't process it. His pride, the very thing that makes him such a great, decisive king, also makes him completely blind. He doesn't see the prophet's words as truth. Nope, he sees them as a conspiracy. He immediately accuses his own trusted brother-in-law, Creon, of bribing Tiresias to try and steal his throne. So the investigations kind of hit a wall, right? It's bogged down in all this rage and these conspiracy theories. But then a new voice enters the room, Oedipus's wife, Jocasta. She steps in to try and calm her husband down, but in doing so, she accidentally gives him the one fateful detail that is going to blow this entire case wide open. So Jocasta tells Oedipus, "Honey, don't worry about prophets. They don't know anything." She tells him she had a prophecy once that her son with Laius would kill his own father. But to stop it from happening, they took the baby, brought him to a mountain, and just left him there to die. So you see, prophecies are nonsense. And besides, she adds, Laius wasn't killed by just one person. It was a whole gang of robbers at a place where 3 roads meet. And it's that last detail. That's the one that changes everything. The comfort she was trying to give him just turns to absolute horror. The phrase, "where 3 roads meet," doesn't calm Oedipus at all. It triggers this dark, buried memory. And this is the first moment where our detective gets that sickening feeling that he might actually be hunting himself. Just as this horrible doubt starts to creep in, a new witness shows up. A messenger from Corinth, which is the city where Oedipus grew up. He says he's got good news, but his testimony? Well, it's going to deliver the final fatal blow to our detective. I mean, the tragic irony here is almost too much to handle. The messenger says King Polybus, the man Oedipus thinks is his father, is dead from old age. And Oedipus is relieved. He thinks, great, the prophecy I ran away from, that I would kill my father, it can't be true. But then, trying to make Oedipus feel even better, the messenger drops a series of bombs. Polybus wasn't your real dad. You were a gift. I'm the one who found you. A baby given to me by a shepherd on Mount Kythiron, a baby whose ankles had been pinned together. Jocasta hears all of this, and she gets it instantly. The prophecy, the baby on the mountain, the pinned feet, it all just clicks into place in the most horrifying way possible. She has married her own son. She literally begs Oedipus to stop the investigation right then and there, to just ask no more questions. But he can't. He's so close to finding out who he really is, and he has to see it through to the very end.
And that leads us to the final scene of this whole investigation. The very last witness is called to the stand, and the awful, horrifying truth is finally dragged out into the light.
See, the messenger mentioned that he was given the baby by a shepherd, one of King Laius's men. Oedipus realizes this shepherd is the key to everything, so he summons the old man, who shows up absolutely terrified because he knows the secret he's been holding for decades is about to destroy the king standing right in front of him.
Under intense questioning, the shepherd he breaks. He confesses that he couldn't bring himself to leave the baby to die all those years ago, so he gave it to the man from Corinth instead. And whose baby was it? It was a child from the house of Laius. It was the queen's, Jocasta's, own son.
And there it is. The cold case is solved. The detective has found the killer. And in that one moment of pure, horrifying self-knowledge, Oedipus finally sees the whole, complete truth. He is the son of Laius and Jocasta. He's the man who killed his own father at a crossroads and then married his own mother.
The revelation is absolutely devastating, but the story's power doesn't just end with the plot twist. What happens next, and the questions the play forces us to ask, that's why it has haunted audiences for literally thousands of years. The aftermath is swift and it is brutal. Jocasta hangs herself. Oedipus rushes in, finds her, and takes the golden pins from her dress and just plunges them into his own eyes, screaming that they will never again see the horrors he's committed and suffered. Then he demands to be banished, to become a blind outcast, wandering the earth forever.
So when you boil it all down, what is the story really about, beyond all the shocking twists? Well, it's a timeless look at fate versus free will. I mean, was Oedipus doomed no matter what he did? It's this powerful metaphor for sight versus blindness, right? The guy with perfect vision is blind to reality. And it's a huge warning about pride, showing how the very best things about us can also be the things that lead to our destruction.
Which brings us to the ultimate takeaway here. You see, Jocasta chose the lie. She begged Oedipus to stop his investigation so they could live in blissful ignorance. Oedipus, for better or worse, chose the truth, no matter how catastrophic it was. And that leaves us with the really unsettling question at the heart of his tragedy. A question for you. Is it better to live a happy lie or to know a terrible truth?